Let's get into it. Dave, how you doing?
Good, man. How you feeling?
I'm doing great. And you got this title fight coming up. You're coming off a big fight recently. Tell us how you're feeling.
Yeah, feeling great, man. I just got a finish in my most recent fight back in January. I felt good to get a win and a finish. I had a string of a few close fights that did go my way last year. Still competitive fights, but again, didn't go my way. So it was nice to get the ball back rolling, start the year off the right way.
Yeah, you fought 5 times last year, and then once already in 2026. You've been very active. How does it feel to be that active throughout the year? And is that something you want to keep up in 2026?
Yeah, it definitely feels good. I think I'm able to stay competitive, stay in shape, keep building my skills while competing, and I want to keep that going throughout this year.
And like I said, you're stepping in for the Studio 15 MMA title on Jackhammer Promotions at the Beatdown 14 on April 12th, 2026. What does it mean for this opportunity right now in your career?
I think it means a lot. Yeah, this is definitely a fight that I think will let me know where I'm at in terms of the next step in my career. I think having a statement win in this fight would be good for me, and that's what I'm looking to do. Really, go in there, do my thing, and put a stamp on it.
When you look at your opponent, what stands out on film about him?
I think Saul is he's a tough kid. He's definitely got grit from all the fights I've seen of him. A little unorthodox, but still, he brings pressure. He's got again, yeah, he's tough. I think, but I also know that I have a different skill set that we'll be able to negate that. I think of all the training partners that I have and all the things I've seen, the experience that I have, this isn't anything new. But I'm not looking past him either. I know it's going to be a fight. It's going to be tough, but I think I have what it takes to get a win here.
I was going to ask my next question, what was the biggest advantage in the matchup that you believe, but it sounds like you believe your experience will bring you further in this fight.
Yeah, 100%. I know he's got experience too, but I think that I know my level, I know my skills, and I know I'm going to get it done.
Absolutely. And do you expect this fight to be technical and tactical or like a violent open swing and brawl to the bell?
I think it's going to be probably a mix of both. I think like I said, he's gritty, he's tough, so he's going to make it a fight. And I know how to do that too. I think if you've seen me fight before, you know that sometimes I can get in there and throw down. So if it comes to that, that's what we'll do. But I'm hoping to make it a clean performance as well.
Awesome. And what kind of pace are you planning on set? I've seen some fighters you take like a little bit slower pace and you kind of work it, and then sometimes you're just go go go. What's your strategy without, I guess, giving it away?
Yeah, I think going into this fight, it's gonna be pretty intense for most of the fight, just based off of the way that I fight, the way he fights. I'm expecting it to be pretty high paced. Yeah.
Awesome. And then this fight goes into deep waters, the championship rounds. How do you prepare for that?
I mean, like I said, I've been prepping, I've been competing, I've been doing a lot this past year or 2 years. I think it's just going to be the same old preparation. Just lots of rounds in the gym, lots of cardio, lots of pushing the pace, and really just doing what I've been doing. Intense practice and preparation.
Is there a statement you want to make in this fight before you make that leap to the next level?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely want to just go in there and have a dominant performance. Show that I know my level, and other people will be able to see it too after this fight.
And you're training out of Longo MMA, correct?
Longos, yeah.
Awesome. Take us through a typical week for you through camp for this camp coming up.
Yeah. I guess like start of the week, Mondays, like we have like skills practice, go live, the usual. You do wrestling practice, you do your live work, etc. Uh, Sparring on the weekends, strength and conditioning during the week. So all the usual, skills practice mixed in with the live work, the sparring, and the conditioning.
Awesome. And what's the biggest adjustment you've made training for this fight in this camp? Have you compared to other fights?
I would say maybe just the mixing up of partners and looks, just because this guy's a little bit unorthodox. But like I said, we have so many good guys at Longos that are really good at doing their own game. So when you end up sparring or going live with a bunch of different bodies, you end up learning how to solve all these problems. So again, looking at a guy like Saul, I know he's going to present a different set of problems, but it's nothing I haven't seen.
Now you train, like we said, at Longo MMA. It's a world-renowned gym with a lot of great fighters coming through. Who are the key training partners in your corner for this fight?
All the usual flyweights at the gym that we have. We got like Tom Fitzsimons, Edwin Chung, a few other guys like Connor, Dimitri. Um, yeah, sorry, I wouldn't be able to give you all the names off the top of my head, but
Fair enough.
most of the flyweights that are in the gym, we're all training together. We're all exchanging,
Is there
feedback.
anyone specifically that you brought in, like, or that you want to work with just to kind of train for Basel's style?
There's a few guys at the gym who have already been training there. Some of them they don't, they're not maybe not fighting right now, but they do have like similar body type, similar style that we've been using for the camp.
Awesome. And what's been the hardest day of camp so far for you?
The hardest day, I'd say, I mean, there's always, there's good days, bad days, and then, everything in between. So, I mean, maybe the hardest day might have been like maybe not a great spar or a day where, things just weren't clicking in like a bad strength and conditioning session, wasn't hitting the right numbers. And then maybe the day after spar wasn't great. But I think that's just part of the game. Yeah. So nothing that would deter me from the goal.
Absolutely. And what's your mindset walking into Mulcahy's in Wantagh that night?
On fight night, it's just going to be go in there and do my thing. Trust in the preparation and in my skill set, and everything else will fall into place. Been preparing for this. I know what I got to do, and I'm just going to do it.
Well, like, what goes through your mind during fight week? Like, you have highs and lows, or you try to like work to stay even keel?
I mean, I think everybody probably has some lows or some negative thoughts, but I always know that I can focus on what I can control on fight week. So if I can control that I'm making the weight, I'm staying positive, I'm focused on my goal. That's really it on fight week. I know that I can always go back and say, okay, I did this at practice, I did that, I put in the work, I've been competing, I've been putting together these performances, so I know that I have nothing to doubt when it comes to fight.
Are you an athlete who studies your opponent consistently, and do you focus more on your own preparation? Which is it?
I'd say probably at the beginning of camp is when I'll look at the opponent and I'll see like what I need to be prepared for, and then just going further into camp, work with the coaches to come up with a game plan, and then just sort of hone what I'm good at already and tune it to what the opponent is going to do, or the game plan for the opponent.
Now you're a guy who's fought in a few title fights. How do you handle the pressure of a title fight?
I mean, I'll be honest. I think that when it comes to those fights, I'm just sort of viewing it as just a fight. Like I need to go in there and beat this guy. I'm not really thinking too much about the title, even though I know it's on the line. I view every fight as like basically the same. It's me going out there and performing and winning.
When did you realize MMA wasn't just something you did, but something you're pursuing seriously?
I think probably a few months or maybe a year before my first fight. I had a kickboxing fight in like 2022, and a little bit before then, I was just training for a few years, and then got good enough to where I was like, okay, coaches were telling me I should compete, I should do this, and it was something I wanted to do. I just needed a little bit of that push from the coaches, from the training partners to be like, hey, you can do this. You're good enough to do this.
What sacrifices have people not seen behind the scenes that you've made?
Behind the scenes, I think it's just making sure that you get to practice, making sure that you get everything done. Sometimes you got to skip, I guess, a little bit of social life, a little bit of, yeah, I guess like a little bit of everything that's not pertaining to training, right? You kind of just have to dial those things back. And then even sometimes, like when it comes to like finances, I'll have to pick up an extra couple of shifts of overtime just to make sure I'm able to, pay for training, pay for privates, pay for all these things. But again, everybody's got those struggles. I think everybody's got to find a way to make it work. So I don't want to act like I'm making these huge sacrifices because everybody else is making them too.
It's still a sacrifice, I think, more for like the casual fans that don't understand. Like,
No, of
I,
course.
I believe a lot of people in the community understand what you athletes put into the sport, um, alongside working and everything else. It's more, I think it's more of a question for like the casual fans that kind of just swing in, watch a fight, and then jet. But what drives you more, proving people wrong or proving yourself right?
I'd say maybe it's a bit of both. Probably a good mix of again, like knowing that I can do it and then just reminding myself that this is what this is my level, this is what I can do. I think at the beginning was more about maybe proving people wrong. Now it's more sort of shifted a little bit to just making sure that I prove myself right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. And how's the sport changed you as a man?
I think it's definitely helped me like day to day, and just in life, being more accepting of what I can control. I think I've always been a resilient person, but just being able to compete and deal with the setbacks of competing and training and everything else has built up that resilience even more. And I think that maybe the small stuff doesn't really get sweated anymore, whether it's work or stuff in life. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, kind of don't care as much anymore because you're like, all right, this is this is nothing.
That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. And where does a win on April 12th put you in the bigger picture?
Like I said, I think a statement win on April 12th sets me up for that next level in my career. I think that if I can, and I will go out there and put on a dominant performance and get a statement big win, it'll be good for myself and for other people to know that this is where I belong and I am that.
And who are some of your combat sports idols growing up?
Yeah, growing up, man, I liked watching guys like Frankie Edgar, Demetrius Johnson, just a lot of the underdogs, a lot of guys who were like, you know, they were tough, they were gritty, they still found a way to win, but sometimes, I guess maybe not. Demetrius was a little more dominant, but for sure, like Frankie Edgar, he was a guy who was always overlooked a little bit, and I think that he had a lot of comeback wins as well. Yeah, guys like that,
So
sure.
yeah, he was a heck of a fighter, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Outside the gym, how do you decompress?
I'll just try to find ways to go out into nature when I can. Every couple of months, I'll go on like a hike and a camping trip if I can, with one of my buddies or my cousin, and that's a good way to just sort of detach from everything and get a little reset going. Other than that, though, I'll just really just day to day stuff. Try to read when I can, and or I'll watch a show.
Or where do you go camping?
Most recently, we went up to Harriman State Park. It's not far. It's like two
Okay,
hours upstate. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I enjoy camping too, so I'm always going up to up in the Catskills to camp and fly
nice.
fish and stuff. And I definitely understand what you mean by decompressing when you're camping.
Yeah, yeah. It's always a good time, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Just relax and put the phone down and
But yeah,
can't hear from anyone. No service.
exactly. That's it. It's the best.
Absolutely. And what's the walkout song you've chosen for this fight?
I think the past few fights I've walked out to Blockbuster Night by Run the Jewels. Just
Okay,
it gets me hyped. Just it's a good song.
awesome. Um, we've talked about I've seen a lot of your fights, and I've seen your fights at a few different promotions. Um, and even your losses were close ones. One was a split decision. A couple went to the judges' scorecards. I don't think I've ever seen you get finished. I don't think that's ever
No,
happened.
no, never.
Um, well, what do you learn from those fights where you've lost? But they were close battles, no doubt
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
What did you learn about yourself inside the cage?
Yeah, I think in a lot of those fights, like you said, that were competitive, it was more a matter of maybe making better decisions in those moments. I think there were times where I either got too aggressive or maybe I didn't pull the trigger enough. And obviously, I talked about this with my coaches afterward. But a lot of those fights, I think that it was just a matter of making better decisions in the moment. And again, it's a fight. Things, punches are flying at you, takedowns, everything else that's going on. But yeah, I did learn that I need to maybe learn how to make those adjustments without without completely changing my game either, but just knowing when to do things as opposed to just sort of again going balls to the wall or maybe being too passive in some moments. And at the same time, like I try not to identify too much with the record because I know that there are some fights that I think maybe could have gone my way, but they didn't. And so I don't want to think that I'm less than just because maybe there's an L on my record for a fight that I probably could have won or did win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the one against Max Higgins was definitely fight of the night in my
Thanks.
opinion. That was a brawl back and forth, and it was awesome.
Appreciate
And
that.
but it was very technical too. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a sloppy brawl. It was very
Yeah.
technical, and you guys went at it for 3 rounds.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I think that was a tough fight too. I thought he was a great opponent. And that was also a fight where I think I showed my level, but it just didn't go my way for that night. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the last couple fights before I wrap this up with you, where should fans tune in? And why should fans tune in or come to Mulcahy's for on April 12th to watch you fight?
I think just to see me do my thing. I believe I'm an entertaining fighter. I believe that I always want to win. I always try to win, and you're going to see that on April 12th. Again, but you've seen a few of my fights. I think that I always bring the pace, always bring the pressure. I think I'm good everywhere, and you're going to see that on April 12th.
Final message to your opponent.
To my opponent, just it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be a war, and I'm coming to win.
And then after you get your hand raised, what's next?
I'm not looking too far past this fight right now. I do want to make sure that I'm fully focused on this fight. That's usually how I do it, but we'll see where things go after this fight. I believe I'm ready for the next level, but right now we're just focused on April 12th.
Awesome. Dave, you have any sponsors or anyone you want to recognize before we finalize this interview?
Yeah, at the moment, no sponsors, but just I always want to give thanks to my friends, my family, my training partners for always being there and helping me get to where I need to get.
Awesome. Well, Dave, I appreciate you joining me here on the Carroll's Corner MMA podcast. Best of luck on April 12th. I'm looking forward to this fight. Like I said before, you always put on a great show and a great competitor. I'm looking forward to see how you improved from last time.
Thanks a lot, Kyle. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This
Great
is
time.
Carroll's Corner MMA podcast with Dave Messier fighting Jackhammer Promotions on April 12th, the Beatdown 14. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you get tickets to go watch it. If you can't, tune in on jackhammerfights.com. See you then.
Thanks again, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Thank you.